Hi everyone! So, by request, this video is about re-enrollments, which is a part of that client creation process for sure. So, when let's see, 2006-ish, I started a pet care company. Some of you know this. And I knew nothing about owning a business, but I dove into learning every single thing I could about running a company. Some of the books that I really found a lot of value in are the Michael Gerber E-Myth books, the Entrepreneurial Myth. Those books are great if you want to explore them. Um, and just tons of other business kind of related learning I did during that time. And something that I read in one of those books, it might have been Robert Kiyosaki or Susie Orman or someone like that. It was that your clients are your best source of clients. And that that helped me so much just slow way down when it came time for me to create another client. Like if I was in a moment of, I really want to create a client. What do I need to do here? And what it did is it made me look at, well, who are my clients right now? Let me look. And if I have, even one client, I might look at, so a few things here. So if I need to create income, okay, I need to create a client because I want to create income right now. I might look at my current client and be like, is there a way I can serve them more? And I'm going to circle back to why this applied to, why I learned this during my pet care years. But with coaching or healing work of any kind, I would look at, let's say this was my only client that I would ever be able to serve and work with, and they're my sole source of income in this way. Is there another way I could serve them? Is there something else I could offer them? And so if you're at a place of nearing re-enrollment with them, that's great. But even if you're not, even if you're just, maybe 2 months into a 6-month program, you might think, you know what, last time we were talking, we touched on scarcity consciousness, but we didn't really get into it. And that's not really what we tend to focus on. I wonder if it would serve her if we did maybe a full day intensive together around that. And I wonder if that would be, if she'd be up for, let's say, doing that for $500. So this is just an example, but it's one way of serving your current clients even more, and using the connection and the resonance. You have a connection, you have a resonance with that person, letting it serve both of you, basically. Steve has talked to me many times about on the fly, mid-program, you can change the program. You could say, hey, we were agreeing for 6 months together, but I think we could do a year. Do you want to do a year? And instead of doubling the 6-month fee, let's do that for half of that. So and you paid me $5,000 for 6 months. You want to stretch this out to a year, and you just need to pay me $3,000 more. And you could, make it make sense to them too from a financial perspective. You can get so creative with how to serve your current clients. I've done this. I've gotten very creative when it comes time for me with re-enrollments in my practice, which has been so great because I know I'm never locked into a program with anybody, no matter what Steve says. Because sometimes he'll say, he's really slow to increase his fees with clients. But I also know at times you just need to. You have to. And of course, you don't have to do anything. But at times there'll be a feeling of I cannot keep working with this person at this fee. So for the relationship to continue, it has to change. And then at other times you just I just really want to. And that's what I'm going to do. So that's one way of with that philosophy in mind, that your clients are your best source of clients. Like, that's one way that it comes into play, is that you can serve them more. So in the current program, or when it comes time to for re-enrollment, which I'll get into in a moment. But you can also, it's like serving your clients is the best way to keep that relationship going, where you are a great source of support for them that they keep returning to. But that's also where referrals come from, through your clients. So I remember this day when I had my pet care company, and we wanted to grow. I had a partner at the time. We wanted to grow it. I had done everything for that day that I knew to do to create clients. Like, I had called some people that I knew that might need support with their animals. I had posted on Craigslist and a few other places. I had put up flyers. I had done my like marketing kind of client creation that I knew to do. And then I was sitting with it like, what else could I do? I have another hour or 2 hours today. Like, what could I do? I don't know what to do. What could I do? And it just popped in of like, I want to make cupcakes for all my clients. So I spent that day, then the rest of it, making cupcakes. And we had probably 40 clients at the time. And I drove all around LA, Santa Monica, Venice Beach, Marina Del Rey, dropping off cupcakes in like a nice little package with a handwritten card for all of my clients. And I mean, that was so cool to do, because it felt productive. It felt like I know that what I appreciate appreciates. I know that what I put positive energy into comes back to me. Like, I know these things. And it felt really obvious and really fun to do something like that. And I'll just say that was probably 2000, end of 2006, 2007. And that following year, like, the financial real estate markets kind of crashed and all this stuff happened, and we just kept growing. Like, we were booming. We were the biggest pet care company, me and one partner and our 2 or 3 employees, the biggest pet care company for a while in LA during that time. And it was very simple. It was one of the reasons we were so successful is that we wanted to provide high quality service. So we never did one-offs. We never met with somebody, spent like hours meeting somebody, exchanging keys, for a one-time hike with a dog. We would only do a committed relationship where we walked dogs, did hikes, did overnights. We did that. You had to want it at least 3 times a week. And most of our clients were 3 times to 5 times a week. And then we gave them priority for boarding and overnights and house sitting and things like that. But we only had like 30 clients a day or so, somewhere in there. Whereas several of the other companies that we ended up buying out their client lists, they would have hundreds of clients, but they were making a fraction of the money we were making. And it took me a while to like translate this into my coaching world, but eventually it all clicked. And it was just the same philosophy of like higher quality service. And yeah, our name was Quality Pet Care LA, and I ended up selling my portion to my partner in the end of 2009, 2010, beginning of 2010, because I fell in love with a man and I moved out of LA. Best decision of my life. So when it comes to re-enrollment, I once asked Steve, like, I have a client coming up I want to re-enroll with. What do I do? And he said the only way that a client will ever consider re-enrolling with you is if what you've done so far has been helpful. And he's like, there's nothing wrong with like amping up your service now, kind of amping up if there's anything on your mind you haven't got to yet with them, or any books or resources. It's not like you need to like flood them with things, but he's like, there, nothing wrong with being mindful of, this might be the last month that you have together, so why not serve them really, really well? I'm going to just share some of like the wisdom that I've received through my coaching work with him around that. So that's one of them. And then the other thing that he shares is there isn't any like perfect timing for when to talk about it. I have done everything. I've done it like a month in advance, saying like, hey, we have this last month together, like let's really go for it, let's make it count, or let's make sure to get to anything that we haven't gotten to yet. Or even I've done it like, I've loved working with you. We have 2 sessions left. And this is typically my way in. So Kelly, we have 2 sessions left. It's been amazing working with you these last 6 months or this last year, and I've seen you grow in your confidence. I've seen you take action even though you were afraid. I really appreciate how brave you've been. It's been a joy to support you, to be one of your sources of support in this journey you've been on. And I really see that you have, this whole other area you've touched on around wanting to really fall in love with your life. And I know we let's like dive into that this month, or let's look at that. Or even if we don't continue beyond the month, I hope that that's an area that you work with somebody on, or with yourself on, and really give that gift to yourself. And if you do want to continue on, I would love to work with you around that. Have you thought about us continuing or not? So that's kind of like, that's something that tends to come out of my mouth at times when I know I want to continue with somebody. There's like infinite ways to approach this, but truly for me, it's coming from this place of, what do I want? Do I want to continue or not? And do I want to change something or not? And checking in with them, like, is this what they want? I really don't want to, it's like consent. I really don't want to, I don't want to move forward with somebody where I don't know where they're at with it. So I lead with honesty, truly. So I like sharing something like, I've loved working with you. It's been such a joy. I don't re-enroll with everybody. I see these areas still that have been untouched or unexplored, or you've mentioned wanting this thing in your life. I hope you keep working on that. I'd love to keep working on that with you if that's something that you'd like. I like being honest, and then I like asking. So that's like one way that I've approached re-enrollment, kind of leading up to the end. Sometimes when I am in a place where I could just go either way, like it doesn't, I'm not, I don't know, I'm not like eager to re-enroll, or I just feel like I'm just going to see when I get there. I don't know. I might wait till the very last session and be like, hey Kelly, it's our last session today. How are you feeling about that? And just listen, ask questions. How was this for you? Was there anything we didn't get to that was just like really important to you? Have you thought about wanting to carry on or not? I don't know if you know, but I don't always carry on with people. And if it's something you'd like to do, I'd be happy to. Kelly might say, well, can we go to one-offs now that we've done a year? Gosh, no, Kelly, I'm so sorry. I only work in these programs because it's so much more meaningful to me. For job satisfaction, I get to see growth. I get to see the transformation. So I just don't do one-offs. I don't really change. I'm just, I'm stubborn that way. I want the best for you. Kelly might say, it's a lot of money. I just don't know. Kelly, don't do it if you can't afford it. Like, if you can't don't do it. Like, don't do it if it's going to stress you out. Don't do it if it's overwhelming. You don't need to. And I would be happy to gift you a session to have whenever you want it. You can always come back and receive some support if that ever seems like a good idea. So just know that you have that with me. I had an example a couple years ago with a client I had worked with for 6 months, and she had gone through a divorce. Her husband had spontaneously left her after like 28 years of marriage, what she thought was happy marriage. So I worked with her for 6 months. We got to the end of the 6 months, and she said something like, "This has been so helpful. It's been amazing. Thank you, blah, blah, blah." And I said, are you thinking about carrying on? I'm all about it. And she said something like, well, there's actually, we re-enrolled twice, so I might just merge the stories together. But it was, in one area, it was, if this has been helpful, it's really served you, like, go for it, do it. Maybe I even shared this story in one of the videos, but like, go for it, do it. If you can afford it, do it. Why not? Like, if it's been helpful, give it to yourself, whether it's with me or somebody else, but go for it. Remember, she's like, oh yeah, of course. Another moment with her, it might have been in that little pocket of time, I said something like, what I see for you is this next level where you're not just, getting through this, but with your ex-husband, you're actually feeling gratitude for the journey and the process. And she said something like, oh my God, yeah, that would be amazing. I can't even imagine that. How long do you think that would take? I'm like, I don't know, 6 months? Jokingly, I said that. And she's like, okay, let's do it. And she knew I was up for continuing with her. But it is such an honored, privileged position to be in, to be somebody's coach for a long time, because you get to know them in a way that maybe nobody else does. So I think it's kind of a cool thing to say, like, this is all the stuff I've witnessed with you, and then here's the areas that I still see kind of unexplored that might lead to some amazing shifts in your world. I don't have a standard last question or last session process. It's more like, often I'll be like, oh crap, my last session with Tammy is next week. Should I do anything? Yeah, let me send her an email and tell her, hey Tammy, our last session's on Friday. Wow. Let's extend it out, to 90 minutes and just take a little bit of time to reflect on this year we've had together. I might do that. I might show up to the session, like I said, and be like, hey, wow, our last session. Do you have an extra half hour today? Because I'd love to just spend a little bit of time right now really acknowledging everything that's happened this year. Or I might say, I'd love to talk about like the wins and really take some time to acknowledge you for what's gone on. If we spend some of the time doing that today, can we do one more session just to make sure we get to everything that was on your mind today that maybe we didn't get to? Would you like to do that? Would that serve you? I might say that at the end of the session. But I'm not playing any games. I'm not into any kind of trying to be good at closing. It's more like, do I want to keep going? Has this been helpful to them? Do they see the value? Is it something they'd like to continue? And then I just want to touch in on this other little piece. Oh, this is the other thing I do. Or like, let me, let's, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Can we talk about it again? I'm like, yeah, of course, let's talk about it. And I put them on the calendar. Or they say, I need to think about it. I'm like, great, think about it. When do you want to talk again? They stay in my calendar because I don't chase people around. Like, that's my least favorite thing. So they stay in my calendar until it's a no. And sometimes that means having 2 more conversations with them. Sometimes it takes some time to see like, well, what would we work on going forward? Or if I'm going to say, this is the other piece I wanted to talk about, if I'm going to say something like, we just did 6 months and I'd love to carry on with you. Is that something that's on your mind? Yes, I would like that. That would be great. Cool. I want you to know I've shifted the way I'm working. I'm working with people for year-long programs. So you've been paying me $9,000 for 6 months. What I'd be willing to do with you is to do a year for $15,000. Is that something that would work for you? You can still break it up into 2 payments if you'd like. I mean, I know, I want to say this for those of you that haven't been in this position. You will be in this position at some point where you're at that crossroads of, I want to change something, but I don't know how to do it. Just say what you want, and you don't need to justify it or explain yourself. You can say, I see the value in longer programs, and it works really well for my business model where I can devote more time to my clients and less time to creating new clients. I want to go deeper with my clients. You can say things like that, totally. You can also do things like, we've been working together for 6 months, it's been $3,000, and I'm now working in year-long agreements with my clients, so that would be $6,000 for the year. And just, I know it's a difference for you, something that I'd like to do for you if you wanted to carry on in this new program is I'd be happy to add in 2 extended sessions, 2 90-minute sessions, or 2 half days, or like just something meaningful and special that would actually serve that person. That kind of thing doesn't serve everybody, people who feel maxed out, but meditate. I'd like to create 2 personalized meditations for you. I'd like to write some poetry for you. I don't know, like things that would serve that person. I'm kind of joking, but anything that would occur to you. Like, I love beefing up the program for a client I love working with, who I'm shifting a bit with. I err on the side of generosity every time in any kind of situation with any client. Not that I like make huge financial compromises, I'll say, but it's more like, if it works for me, I'm gonna add in sessions, I'm gonna offer extended sessions, I'm going to serve the pants off of my clients, and I'll know if it doesn't feel aligned. But having a very simple, rich coaching practice, there's just a lot of space to be able to really make a difference for the people that you're working with. So when it comes to re-enrollment, I say, like, that's what I'm always looking at with my current clients and in my own practice. Like, do I need a new client, or can I serve this client that I have, that I love, in a deeper way? Or look at, we're coming up on re-enrollment in a few weeks. Let me slow that down and really look for ways I could serve them. Just take some time to slow it down, and I mean, I live my practice as if nobody's ever going to re-enroll, and I recommend that for everybody, truly. I have some clients that don't think like that and are devastated every time somebody drops out of their practice. So I think living your practice, being in your practice as if nobody's ever going to, is so helpful mentally, psychologically, and also financially, because you just don't know. And it's so nice to have no pressure on your clients ever. All right, so this is, again, just kind of a tidbit, but we can explore this all in much more detail as we go through this program. Lots of love to you all.